I don't want to do this anymore. Annual report, threshold study, progress in the Lake House directive to understand and suppress Cauldron Lake threshold is improved this year. Research in the areas of threshold energy detection and measurement have made great strides, allowing us to work with the investigation department and construction of an early warning system near the shore of the Cauldron Lake. Exploring the relationship between the shadow and the source of light continues to be difficult without active threshold manifestation to test against. Additional means of containment, and offensive measures against the shadow have similarly been difficult to develop without an active AWE, though theoretical research continues. Research in threshold suppression techniques is ongoing with no clear determination regarding their viability. Possible at this time, the team has been testing counter-frequency projections in the vicinity of Cauldron Lake, with findings sent to Dr. Darling as requested. Summary 2017 has been a successful year. Promising breakthrough. Wait, there was 2 of those. Before Dr. Darling was lost in the lockdown of the oldest house, he tasked the lake house with discovering the nature of the shadow and its ability to convert art into reality. During our diligent research into this phenomena, it has become clear that Dr. Darling was not dreaming big enough, which leads us to the new goal of the lake house and its talented staff to create a stable connection between the Cauldron Lake threshold and our own dimension. Threshold travel has only ever been possible inside the oldest house and occasionally during altered world events. Though this is often an involuntary process, the shadow's known attraction to art provides us with the perfect opportunity to create the world's first controlled bridge between dimensions that can be safely traversed in either direction. A laboratory will be built on sublevel 5. That's where I am. Where experimentation, at least I think that's where I am, related to linking with the threshold will be performed. This location will take full advantage of our proximity to Cauldron Lake. This laboratory will simultaneously develop machinery that can connect with an AWE site in the lake and use art as focal point to create bridge. Precise methods are yet to be determined, though teams will soon be formed to explore processes involving art as dimensional anchor, reality manipulation via art, and machine-assisted coupling. Lovely. All very lovely.
September 13th, 2023. Notes regarding the concept of the tortured artist. A romanticized image of the sensitive artistic temperament, yes. But there may be truth in the cliche. It's no secret Rudolph Lane has been unhappy here for years. But the aggregate data shows his art's viability.
I wonder if the music I'm hearing is by the same band that did that road song that plays after Alan's chapters. I think the man's name is Poe.
Trending upward over time. If Jules hadn't neglected to hold regular psychological exams, then we could have quantified the subject's emotional state, creating a sort of distress rating to compare against the art score. I'll make this a sub-goal of my study of Edward Booker. Once we set the variables and establish a control reading of his art and mental state, then we can begin inducing negative emotion. Limited food and water, perhaps. An increasingly tight living space. This is how Jules lost his subject, though. Need to be careful not to leave any sharp objects in Booker's cell.
Can I have a healing kit, please? Maybe? No? Okay. Definition art, a study. Truly comprehend the threshold within Cauldron Lake. We must first understand its attraction to art. However, even the definition of art is as varied as the range of crafts that fall under the name. To that end, we must open a track of research dedicated to defining and quantifying art, ultimately rendering the concept into a unit of measurement. To begin, let's not try to understand humanity's definition of art, but rather Cauldron Lake's preferences. Past cases of Cauldron Lake's threshold affecting reality have centered on writing, Wake 2010. Cinematography is also suspected, though not directly confirmed, Zane 1970. What about other mediums? See, that's one thing that I do not like. I didn't figure out, and I'll have to look into it to see. Zane was a poet. There was never, I don't remember any mention of him being a cinematographer. But then in the second game, they even acknowledge in the second game when he talks about it that they say no, he was a poet. So I don't know like how like that happened. Something happened that changed that. What about other mediums? We will need to test the viability of painting, poetry, music, photography, sculpting, dance, and so on, not to mention the myriad of genres and methods within each medium. And what about crafts outside the most common artistic expression? Does any act of creation on a high level of expertise merit the title of art? Baking, woodworking? What about non-physical mediums? Why is music and art and philosophy is not? Does something become art due to its medium, its quality, or perhaps simply through the intent of expression? Or an equal made up of all the three? What would be the order of importance? What thresholds must each factor reach for the equation to succeed? Clearly, there is much to determine. We must begin with developing a methodology using a vast range of arts and general creative endeavors, both physical and mental, then find a way to test their potent connection to Cauldron Lake's threshold. Cauldron Lake is an enigma with many layers to pull away if we are to understand it and ultimately bring it under control. The work will take years. That's awesome. Awesome. On the morning of the magician held at the lake house for research purposes was discovered missing from her cell. Security footage from the cell from the night before was damaged by electrical interference of an undetermined nature. Known professionally as has produced a song called Six Deep Breaths during her time at the lake house that was considered very promising as research material, somehow used her song to orchestrate her escape. Efforts to find were brief, within any wider search considered an unacceptable risk to the lake house's mandate of confidentiality. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Time out. Time out. Time the fuck out. Time all the way the fuck out. Six Deep Breaths was the shit that I was talking about near the beginning of the game when I was freaking out. That's what she that's what she said, which is the first time that's ever been said non-sexually. Okay. Investigation currently ongoing as to whether any staff at the lake house were involved in this experience. And investigation is currently ongoing as to whether the subject used the song to they create as a redacted means of escape. All material related to the work produced by reduced, stored, and archived for future reference. Online checks for public reappearance of are to be performed weekly. Known web addresses associated with past known address with para-utilitarian AW activity. This House of Dreams .blogspot.com. Jesus, God damn it. Give me a minute. You can make me look up website. I'm gonna go on the internet. I'm gonna go on the interwebs. Surf the information superhighway. Slash number. Where the fuck is the equal sign? equals 1. Fuck! What the fuck? There's entry F. Oh God! All right, let's. No, there's more than one page. There's more than one page. There's okay. Introduction. I'm gonna read all of this. Just so you know, I'm reading all of this. Okay. Introduction starts with this picture. Actually, I'm going to switch over. Okay, first I'm going to take a picture of this so that I can go to the other website when I'm done. And then I'm going to switch over to the PC so that when I hold up shit to the camera, it like I know it's being seen. Okay, that's too bright. That's way too bright. Let's turn the brightness down a bit. Is that better? See, that's still not. Turn it all the way down. All the way down. Okay, there you go. That picture. Then I gotta turn the brightness back up. The exposure on my camera is fucking weird. I had to turn it way down because little bits of light coming in from fucking places. I fulfilled my lifelong dream and bought an old house. This blog will follow the process as I renovate the house into the house of my dreams. It's going to be an exciting adventure. Welcome aboard. Shared by Samantha. 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 Who the fuck is Samantha? Tour of the house. I took some photos today of the fun work ahead. As you can see, this will take a while, but I'm up for the challenge. Some of my friends think I'm crazy for doing this by myself. Yes, I'm thinking about you, Andrea and Jen. I'm already browsing through wallpaper catalogs. See, these are the photos. What the fuck? Now, I gotta turn the brightness all the way down each time I show you a picture. It's fucking... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. With you? Now here for a while. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Give me just a second. I'm gonna open a... I feel dirty just doing this, but I'm opening a Microsoft Edge tab. Because I don't want any, like, you know, stuff from my regular browser to be shown. Not that there's anything that I would need to worry about, but like ID, like username, website usernames, shit like that. Okay. And the name of the... where'd my phone go? Can you imagine if I fucking did this all the way I was doing it and it never once fucking crossed my mind to um Do it this way. Okay. Okay. 2012. See if these are what order these are in. 729, 720. Okay, so I need to go to the end. I need to go to the end. Older posts. Older posts. Older posts. Older posts. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Okay, now let me turn display cap. I'm gonna turn desktop audio down a bit. So just so that I'll turn it up a little bit. So you have that music playing in the background, but it's not like overwhelming. Okay. Display capture. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Hopefully this is. Let me minimize and do a little one of these. Yeah, it's working. Okay. South of Dreams. This is okay. So this was the one I just read to you. Newer post. For the house, took some notes. Wallpaper catalogs. Okay, this is the first image. Second image. Okay, I'm gonna turn that all the way down just because my character is low on health. Fuck. You know what I should have done? I should have just muted it. Because now I don't remember what my level was. Whatever. That's the second picture. That's the third picture. No, I don't want this to be my default browser. This is a one-time situation, Microsoft Edge, okay? This is a one-time situation. Oh, and exploring the nooks and crannies of my future home has unearthed some real treasures. The previous owner left all kinds of stuff in the attic. More of that next time. Okay, newer post. First night in the house. I spent the night in my future home for the first time. It was almost like camping indoors. I had a sleeping bag. There was weird flapping noise that kept me awake at night. I found a dead wren in the attic earlier. There's a broken window. And I imagine there's a bird trapped somewhere inside the walls. Not a nice image to think about, sorry. As I mentioned earlier, the previous owner left all kinds of stuff in the attic. Her daughter told me that they have no use for them. I can do whatever I want with them. Now, whether this is uh an already existed blog and then they found it and like, hey, let's retroactively use this for our game, that we can wiggle this into our game, or if they made this for the game, I don't know. That's why I'm looking for any clues in the pickies. I've always been fascinated by attics. As a child, I used to sneak up. I should, you know what I should do? I should pause the fucking game. There. Now I don't have to listen to that. As a child, I used to sneak up to my grandparents' attic to explore. I always felt like a magical, mysterious place. Slightly scary, but not too much so. Filled with forgotten treasures waiting to be discovered. I felt the same way in the past few weeks, climbing up to my own attic. Here are some photos. Because like it lists like 2012 as like a creation date for this, and Blogspot is a regular blog site, but I don't know if and I'll check out when I'm done with this, I'll check out like the profile and everything. I don't know if there's anything where like if a company was gonna like use it for like an ARG thing, if they'd be allowed to like alter, you know, the dates on stuff. This stuff we already saw. Looking for any like anything that uh looks like anything from any of the games. Because like I said, this could easily be a blog, like a home renovation blog that, you know, the developers came across and thought was interesting and then wanted to like retroactively put into their game. Big box of buttons. Lots of buttons. That box. Box with jewelry and stuff. I've always been fascinated. Wait, no. The most wonderful discovery I've made so far is an old shoebox filled with typewritten sheets of poems and black and white photographs, photos, and scans of those soon. Um. Uh. Okay. Hold up. Hold up. The shoebox. The shoebox. That's where you store shit in this in the game, in the main game. If this is okay, if this was created for the game, that's fine. It's cool and everything. But if this was something that they found and decided to retroactively use, that means that they had this in mind all the way back when making the main game because of the shoebox thing. Holy shit. Newer post. Shoebox photos. There were 2 black and white photographs in the old shoebox I found from the attic. The box was among the things left behind by the previous owner. The photo depicted a man getting into and out of a wetsuit and a woman, I'm guessing his wife or girlfriend, helping him. He could be a diver. Thomas Zane was a diver. Dude, this is blowing my fucking mind. Oh my god, this is the kind of shit you expect from like a fucking analog horror ARG kind of thing, not a fucking AAA fucking video game. I miss when games did shit like this. Like I remember when Infamous Second Son came out and there was a side quest where you had like actually go to like web pages and stuff and make an account and interact with stuff. And so many people complained about it because it was like, I don't want to do that work. It's like, fuck you. That was fun. And what's sad is I replayed the game. I replayed Second Son like about, I don't know, about 8 months ago to get the platinum. And the website and everything doesn't work anymore. So all you do is you just you scan the things and then it just gives you the location for the next thing instead of having to go through like the ARG elements. And it's like it's sad that they took that down. And it kind of makes me wonder why they took it down, because it's like I can't imagine it being that expensive to host that shit. Here comes the weird part. Their faces are covered with black ink stains. It must have been done on purpose, as only the faces are covered. It's delicious mystery. The whole shoebox is. I'm thrilled. I love mysteries like this. In addition to the poem, in addition to the photos, there are poems, 12 of them. I'll post them soon. Here are the scans of the photos. I'm not going to dive too deep into this to the point of like trying to like see if there's like anything hidden, if I like chroma key and mess with like the lighting and shit. Nope. Shoebox Dream. Okay, I'm freaking out just a bit here. I saw a really bizarre nightmare last night. I know this is supposed to be a blog about my new house, but the dream is related to that. And on the other hand, look at the name of the blog. This isn't what I meant when I came up with the name, but now I feel strangely appropriate, don't you think? In the dream, I heard a doorbell ring and went to open the door. There was a man there. He said he was a federal agent. He showed me his badge and all, just like the FBI agents do in the movies. Here comes the scary part. There was something wrong with his face. It was leaking inky smoke so that I couldn't see what he looked like. When I woke up, I realized that this image totally came from the ink covered faces on the photos. Of course, see previous post. The man asked me about the shoebox. He said that it contains top secret information and that I need to give it to him. I got scared that he'll put me in jail and went to get the shoebox, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I searched the whole house, but it was nowhere. Then I went to my bathroom to look for it, and I saw myself in the mirror. My face was covered in inky smoke as well. And that's when I woke up. When I think back about the dream, it didn't say FBI on his badge. It said AWE. Fuck! Remedy! Sam Lake, you fucking bastard! Ah! This is the weirdest thing of all. Now I can't find the shoebox anywhere. I've looked everywhere I could think of. I'm sure that it will turn up somewhere. There's so much junk lying around in the house at the moment, but kind of creepy in any case. I didn't get around to scanning the poems yet, but I did take photos of them, luckily. Under the house. A couple of guys came to do some plumbing work Friday. They had to get under the house to do that. I discovered that there was a trapdoor that led to a crawl space underneath. It had been screwed shut and had to be opened. After they were done, I decided to go down there and explore. Armed with a flashlight and my iPhone for shots, I squeezed myself through the trapdoor. It was cramped and claustrophobic. I'm amazed that the workmen were able to do any work in there. I'm tiny compared to them. I was mentally prepared for rats and dead cats, or even worse, but there was nothing out of the ordinary down there. Nothing out of the ordinary in the town of Ordinary.
A few minutes later.
Just a moment, please. Um, there's a song in Control called Take Control.
Take control. Take control. I see a vision rising dreary, fading in as children play. Twilight games in the town called Ordinary. An eye of light reveals a gateway to Tuesday.
The town that Jesse is from in Control is the town is called Ordinary, which, yeah, it's some on the nose, but like on the nose stuff, people don't seem to realize that like on the nose stuff works when you realize it's on the nose. Like people make a lot of fun of uh Death Stranding for the character's last name being Bridges, and how it's like a metaphor for him bridging, like, oh, it's like, yeah, he knows that it's like on the nose and ham fisted. That's the point. Like when you know that something is ham fisted and kind of like a little on the nose, but you're aware of it and you're self aware about it, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Here are the photos. That removes any lingering doubt I had that this was like a blog someone made and then the dev team found it, and then because that would mean that, like, because the shoebox would mean, because if this was a blog that someone had already made and then the dev team found it, decided and asked like the creator if they could use it, um that would already mean that they had it in mind all the way back in the main game for the shoebox. But now that's all the way back in fucking Control. I don't I don't want to do this anymore. I've not done a lot of these ARGs because a lot of stuff that had ARGs, I wasn't like, I relatively recently got into online horror. I remember I watched through the entirety of Marble Hornets with my wife, like in like I think 2015, 2016, around then. And I didn't get into analog horror until 4 years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, when I came across, and the funny thing is that what I came across that got me into analog horror and was my first like introduction was actually a fan edit that for some reason I can't find anymore. So I don't know if it was either a fan edit or it was part of the channel and then they deleted it and changed it. But if you've watched Local 58, I think it's Local 58, when they have that EAS warning, and it says stuff like barricade yourself in the house, don't listen to any sounds that sound like relatives, and then there's that part that says don't look at the ceiling. And I remember I was in a dark room and I saw that and I just fucking I fucking froze. But the funny thing is that if you go look at it now, the EAS warning is different because the I'm not going to spoil what Local 58 is about, but the powers that be that's fucking with them keeps fucking with the broadcast and trying to tell people, oh, it's okay, you can go outside, everything's fine, and then the broadcast people keep trying to fuck back with it and highlight letters and like you can see the two forces kind of battling, and so this was either a fan edit of what the warning would have looked like without the interference, or the brief period where I found that the creator had uploaded like a version that didn't have the interference and then later deleted it and replaced it with a version that did. Because I've not been able to ever, like, recently, when I like was watching Local 58, because it's ironic that that's what got me into it, but it wasn't until a little bit later that I found Local 58, because I found Mandela Catalog and watched through that, and some other stuff like Gemini, um, and some of the older ones. The one that's in Russian, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, so like, so yeah, like the ARG elements that these things sometimes had, I've never like really been a part of it. So going on a journey like this is freaking me out. Because this part is like always like I've always like thought like these things having these heavy ARG elements, it's cool, but it kind of sucks that if you're a latecomer, you miss out on a lot of it. And in some places you actually just completely have no idea what's going on. Like with Everyman Hybrid, where they would actually have coordinates hidden in the videos, and then if you went to those coordinates in real life, you'd find like a box that had like some stuff you could keep, like memorabilia, like one of them was like a jacket that one of the characters had been wearing, but then a tape, and then you would upload the what was on the tape, and then the series will continue from there. um Coming into it afterwards, unless you find a playlist that includes all that, you'll have no idea. You'll be lost in the story because just watching through the regular channel, which is why I had an idea, but I don't know if it's something that I would ever do because I've got too many projects already. Maybe when I finish with Vantage OS, um, 'cause that's not meant to be a super long project. Um, I've had this idea of making a channel where basically uh I make a playlist of videos from a channel like Marble Hornets, or any one of them kind of channels, but in between it, interspersed in the playlist, I put videos of me, either like me in a dark area with like a nice set, or just like a black screen with text or whatever, where I explain, okay, after this was uploaded, the Twitter did this and this, and then a link was found to this, and then this happened to this, and then we lead on to the next video. And I think that'd be a cool idea. I'm just worried about the legality of it. I don't know if it'd be legal for me to do that, because I wouldn't be really stealing content from the channels, because the playlist that I would create, every single video of mine would start with a disclaimer that you should really be watching it through the playlist, because the videos on their own don't serve any purpose other than filling in blanks of a playlist that's going to contain videos from the channel that I'm covering. Um, and I think that if I like got like a really good like radio, like quiet, like voice, like narration voice, and just like was like snappy, it didn't give any opinions or anything to it, just gave the facts of like what was posted here, what was posted there. Um, uh, then uh, it would allow people to um who come to a series like later on after all the ARG stuff is over, to um uh like experience the ARG elements, which currently with most of those channels you don't. With a lot of those channels, like you if you go to Marble Hornets now and watch through the series, it's still a good series, but there's stuff you're not going to understand, because there's times that like the channel was hacked. And then there was times that like the other channel, which I can't remember what the name of the other channel was, would upload a video. So and I do think that there would be a market for a channel that is built on, the only thing I do is just explain the ARG elements that bridge between certain episodes. And then, since the playlist would include the videos from the original channels, not re-uploads by me, but the original videos, I wouldn't be taking views away from them. I'd be giving them views. That's an idea I've had. And I don't know. I don't know if it'd be legal. Um uh Maybe I could contact like the creator of Marble Hornets or the creator of Everyman Hybrid, like one of them old school ones, and just tell them my idea and say, hey, what do you think of this? A way for like people just discovering your content to be able to watch through it, but also be in the loop with all the ARG elements. And they I don't know, they might be cool with it. That's just an idea I've had. All right, I had to go on a rant about my ideas and shit just to get myself calmed down from how freaked out I am. And I know it's so silly to be freaked out by that, but it's like what it is because Blogspot is a real place. It's a real website. It's clearly not misspelled or anything, so it's clearly the actual Blogspot. Um, so I guess when you upload something, you can, create your own custom. Because I can't imagine that they were coming up with this shit all the way back then. I mean, maybe they were. I know that they were working on concepts for Alan Wake 2 pretty much right after the first one. So maybe some of these ideas did make it in. I don't know. I have no idea how this worked. But anyway, we got the under the house pictures. I'm sure there's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if there's stuff hidden in these pictures. Like, I know sometimes stuff like this will have, like, if you, like, chroma it a certain way, there's, like, stuff, you know. Like, there's even been, like, stuff, ARG stuff, where if you download the audio and look at, like, the spectrogram, there's, like, text in it and stuff. They do some freaky shit. All right. Shoebox Poems. I've been really busy and stressed at work lately, but in spite of that, the shoebox and its contents are never far from my thoughts. You might say that I'm getting a bit obsessed about them. I've been trying to find out who the poet is or the couple in the photo, but no luck. I asked the daughter of the previous owner about it. Her mother is in a nursing home, suffers from advanced Alzheimer's disease, so she wouldn't be of help to me. She was certain that no one in her family was a poet, and she doubted that people in the photos were anyone from her family. She showed us that the mom liked to buy stuff from yard sales, and her guess was that the shoebox was something she had picked up from one of those. I tried to find the shoebox after it went missing, but I can't find it. I'm so glad I took photos of the poem before I lost them. Here they are. Okay, we're about to go on a fucking journey. This is some fucking House of Leaves level shit, which, uh, although the main inspiration is SCP, I think with like what they did with the oldest house, they probably took inspiration from House of Leaves too. Kept from sleep again last night by the sounds of chimes, I sway. So far below heaven, so high above hell. Frost creeps up the trunk of my spine. All is blackness through these holes of my eyes. Just the wind in my skull and the wings of her crows. They perch on the gallows. They have pecked me clean and made a chime from my bones. B's comment, a diver, not a hanged man. Think about it. In this temple of shadow and mist, there is a window in the floor and a door in the ceiling. There's no knowing. Am I standing still or running or kneeling? there be any way to fucking figure out what's under the now they figure that out. From bloom to gloom, our love like fire consumed. We burned our bridges, furniture, clothes, hair, flesh, and bone. All too soon, we ran out of things to burn. But while it blossomed, our love was like a flower. B, this is us. T. Give me just a second. just uno momento, please. Uno momento. I knew it. Fucking knew it. I was trying to remember what Thomas Zane's wife's name was. It's Barbara. Sam Lake, you fucking psychopath. This is the kind of shit I want to create. And not to get into it because I'm not anywhere ready to like actually start talking about it, but the kind of shit I am trying to create. Until that time comes around again, the shadow falls on this town again. It's barely evening, but the shadows fall on me again. No one will miss us. Our faces inked black. They'll sell our things at the flea market. They'll never call us back. So she left them. They'll wine and dine her, wine her and dine her. We huddle naked in this alley. Nothing's for sure. Fur needles tickle. We bathe in rainwater all the way to the ocean, the memory of the slaughter. Until that time comes around again, the shadow falls on this town again. It's barely evening, but the shadow falls on me again. When I'm asleep, when I'm awake, I'm barely alive. When I sleep, I have two hearts, your heart and mine. I wish it would shatter like glass under my heels, just like a sheet of ice when I close my eyes. That's how the mirror feels. Oh, mercy, thousands have gone missing beyond the labyrinth of me. When you're lost in your own company. In this hall of mirrors built by liars, I am a pale reflection of myself. Who? Who would fool me? That reminds me of the fucking Rolling Giant for some reason. I don't know who that's supposed to be. Mist like death, mist like a lover's breath. Rolls so soft and cold and wet. Memories met for the first time. Secrets whispered to find a long lost doorway home or be led to parts unknown and forever disappear beyond this veil in her dreams to prevail. He boxes out her. And this gives me further thought that that they took some inspiration from House of Leaves. Because if you read House of Leaves, I have to try to find an example. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it, but If you get the full edition of House of Leaves, where was it? Right there. Every instance of the word house, you can almost see it. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. Every instance of the word house is in blue. One of the best books ever written. Fucking read it. I realize that would have been easier to see if I had actually made the webcam bigger, but whatever. Your eyes were so cold when you watched me go under. You were sitting in the boat. I floated down to the darkness like a cloud from a shark bite. I breathed out my life with you. The currents washed me away. I let the currents wash me away. My mother told me to no avail. If you play with shadows, you grow sickly and pale, and forget all the wonders the sun can unveil. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there is a miracle illumin. Ah! Just, just, mm, just let me, just let me be. This is mostly for my sanity, okay? There it is. There it is. Listen. I'm 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 freaking out here, okay? I'm freaking out so bad. E's favorite line, a long talk with him about the uncaring, no changes, ball keep in mind for another time. Who would E be? Maybe Emil? That's the only E I can think of is Emil. The Emil Hartman, the doctor that was doing all that shit. I mean, obviously Thomas Zane was way back then, so I don't know if he was doing that shit back then. And there is no E. There's Balder, Odin, and Tor. Um, the members of the band that do the old gods. Oh God, I'm like it's a it's a 3-part combination. I'm nerding the fuck out because this is Remedy at its best, and this is what I love them for. It's freaking me out because it's just fucking creepy. Like I'm letting myself get absorbed. I'm like suspending my disbelief and letting myself get absorbed in this world. And 3, I'm just marveling at how like creative this is. Frightened of the shadows of the deep, he challenged me to a duel. I indulged him, for he did not know that beyond the lake he called home lies a deeper, darker ocean green. I'm not going to get the phone out again, but that line is in the song as well. Where waves are both wilder and more serene, to its ports I've been, to its ports I've been. I go underground, follow me underground. Everyone else has gone there. Down to the ground, I'll take you underground. For a second, I started thinking about the David Bowie song. Down in the underground, you find someone true. Down in the underground, a land serene, a crystal moon. Ah, it's only forever, not long at all. I'm aware that I can't sing. They chased a mystery. They are a mystery to me, and you'll think that of me when I tell you my tale. What we bring with us, sorry secrets and awkward lies, wet matches, a yarning for overcast skies. Everything else down here has been stolen so many times. Everyone who walks down these steps dies. I go underground, follow me underground. Everyone else has gone there, down to the ground. I'll take you underground. And you know, I'm just freaking out on there's probably layers below this of like things like yarning. I don't know if that's a word. Maybe he misspelled yearning. And like there might be things where like letters that are like off kilter or something spelled out something like in House of Leaves in the appendix. One thing that you find is um um okay, I'm gonna be honest, this book is a fucking like trying to find a particular thing to trying to find something in particular in this book to show as an example in this book is time consuming. But there's a one letter that a character's mother wrote him, and it seems weird, and then you take the first letter of every single word and there's a message in it. There's all kinds of weird shit in there. Fucking amazing book, man. See, I love this. I love art that does something unique. I don't care if it does it well or does it poorly. Some of my favorite movies are like really low budget movies that like people um say aren't that good, but it does something unique. I will take something unique that has not been done, something experimental, fucking something like Skinamarink. I don't care what anyone says. That's one of the best horror movies ever made. Even if you find it boring, understanding like the meanings behind it and like the feeling they're trying to capture of because you have to understand when you watch that movie that you're not watching it as an adult. You're not seeing these events through the eyes of an adult. You're seeing these events through the eyes of a child. And so there's not much dialogue. There's not much exposition. It's just like uh the movie Hardcore Henry, an entire action movie shot in first person. I love stuff that's unique. I love stuff that is like, I'm gonna fucking try some shit. Might not work, but I'm gonna try some shit. I wish I could be that talented. I really do. I mean, my therapist says that when I put myself down, I should try to come up with counter examples. I did things with my Amnesia custom story that no one else had ever done with that engine, and no one else had done since throughout the entirety of Amnesia custom stories existing. I did stuff with that engine that no one else ever even attempted. So I can do some shit when I put my mind to it. I just, have a lot of issues that prevent me from being able to put my mind to anything. Divorce me from all that sane, screaming mute darkness to descend on this frail frame. I drown in fathomless black space. Light never scratched the depths of this domain. I see not, yet nothing could be worse. Then he shades. My mind calls herein, alone at my own wake, the unraveling of reason's scheme. That is literally the ending of the song I played last. That's how the song fucking, I'm getting it out. I'm breaking it out. You know what the annoying thing is though? Is that song was used for Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and they kept saying that song isn't canon. Or that game isn't canon, and then they reference it 40 fucking times in the goddamn game. Pisses me off. And what's funny is I've listened to that song a million times since that fucking game came out, and I always thought that it was Reason's scheme. I don't know what a fucking scheme is. What's a scheme? What is a scheme? A length of thread or yarn, loosely coiled or knotted. Okay. All right. All right. We got one more. We got one more. We pillage and whore, hauling our loot. We swagger down alleys. We don't say please. The town is burning. We set it in flame. We are the fire that's gone out in your eyes. We are the maggots gnawing your heels. We are the rain trickling down from the hole in your ceiling. We are the ants inside your walls and under the boards of your floor. We are eating your house. We are sharp rocks under your knees. The front of the altar where you are kneeling. We have no morals, no guilt, no qualms. We don't give a damn. The sewers are clogged, filled with waste. The water is rising. We'll make a ship out of your naive, broken dreams and lay siege to your sanctuaries. We are a ravenous horde of rats. We are the fangs and we are the beast. There will be no more admiring gazes, no more courtesies, no more gardens in spring. We are a rising waste, and you will be a drowned king. I sense this was not written by the same person that wrote the other ones. I'm thinking this might have been written by Thomas after he got all dark placed. Okay, spare me. Well, as the photos are a bit blurry, I'll transcribe the poems. A bit blurry. Dark place below the poem. There's a line from William Blake, Auguries of Innocence. Some are born into endless night. Oh, I thought that might be a fucking hyperlink or something. There's another poem on this page. In the Hall of Mirror, yeah. Face of a man, some trees, and a strange face with long nose and round black eyes. B, this is us. T, a name Barbara, I'm guessing. Can't quite make it out. Different handwriting next to a heart. Another dream last night when I woke up a real scare. In the dream, I was visiting the previous owner of the house at the nursing home, only in the dream, the owner wasn't a sweet old lady. He was a man, and he wasn't old. He was a young man with dark hair. Very good looking, in fact. I remember he was wearing a funny jacket with old fashioned elbow patches. I need a minute. I need a minute. Okay. 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 You got to understand that this is an intersection of a long time, lifelong fan of this developer intersecting with the nerding out over how cool this is and also allowing myself to suspend my disbelief and think of this as if it was real and let myself be freaked out by it. So those three things intersecting is what's making me act this way. All right. I was there to find out about the shoebox, but he was very agitated and didn't listen to me. The place was brightly lit. It was sunny outside, but he was still very anxious and wanted me to turn all the lights on. He kept going on about the place being too dark. I remember being certain that all the lights were on already, but that didn't calm him down. In the end, he was screaming for me to turn the lights on. I was also starting to freak out, starting to think that something horrible was coming to take us away. And that's when I woke up. I was really thirsty. I got up from bed and went to get a glass of water. In the hallway, coming back, I suddenly saw a dark silhouette of a man outside the window. I must have screamed out aloud. My heart stopped for a moment. I dropped the glass. Luckily, it didn't break. It's one of my favorites. I was really frightened. I rushed through the house, turning on all the lights. First impulse was dial 911, but after a moment, that felt silly. I told myself that I must have imagined the whole thing. Seen my own reflection in the window. Of course, with all the lights on inside, I couldn't see anything outside anymore. I ended up calling a friend of mine, Joss, who lives nearby, waking him up. He was kind enough to come over and check the place. Bless him, Joss is a real angel. There was no sign of anyone outside. Today, I'm definitely going to buy some yard lights. I've been meaning to do that for some time. I've been very busy at work and too exhausted to post here. No, get. Look, I love you. I love you so much. No, that wasn't an invitation to come back over here. But when you walk around, your tail sticks straight up and not like wiggly wobbly, like hard, like you got a tailbone or like it's like you know those buses that have the little things attached to the wires at the top. And so when he walks under, his tail scoops any dangling wires and takes them with him. Apart from the nightmare the other night, which I had to get off my chest immediately, and it still gives me creeps. On a more positive note, the house is slowly starting to look really good, and I've been living here for a while. There's a photo of my fireplace. It's a that's a nice here. When you get there, buddy. Okay. I got the yard lights. Now I only need to get them installed. To be honest, I'm playing for time here writing this, not looking forward to going to bed. I was listening to a beautiful, brilliant Florence and plus the Machines earlier, and the song No Light, No Light made me think of the nightmare again. I need to go listen to that song. Is there going to be a clue in it or some shit? Oh, God. Called 911. Men outside. Shadows, dark, coming. Help me more lie. I'm back and I'm okay. Well, not okay, but alive. They kept me in the hospital overnight for observation. And then I spent a couple nights at my parents' house. On the night of my previous post, sorry if I frightened anyone, I had trouble going to bed. I was on my laptop listening to music. The TV was on in the living room. I wasn't really watching it, but I was mildly amused by the fact that the episode in the crappy horror show that was on was about a girl who buys a haunted house and gets into trouble. It was a rerun of the Twilight Zone or something. Or something. Yeah, or something. I wonder what. It got ridiculous when the corny narrator started saying things like she bought the house. She thought she had bought an ordinary house in an ordinary town, but nothing could be more out of the ordinary in this house. I actually laughed out loud and walked to the living room to see. It was like someone was playing a practical joke on me. But then I immediately saw the men outside my window, dark shadow silhouettes. The power went out, and it was dark. And see, move, go somewhere. You want to go out? Is that it? I'll go out. Oh. He did not go out. He just stood there and stared. Anyway, let me check this, make sure it's still fucking. Yeah, okay. Ugh. Uh, Power went out and it was dark, and I could hear a window breaking in another room. I ran to the kitchen where my laptop was. I grabbed it, rushed into the closet, shutting the door behind me. I sat on the floor and dialed 911. I could hear the sounds of them breaking in and insane shouts and laughter. I've never been so scared in my life. I could hear them getting closer. I stopped talking to my phone so they wouldn't hear me. I wrote the blog post. I don't know what I was thinking. Then they were behind the door, and I got up, trying to keep it closed. It flew open violently, and I fell and hit my head. Last thing I saw in the glow of the laptop was the shoebox. It was sitting on the shelf. There was no way I could not have seen it before if it had been there since it went missing. Then it all went black. I woke up in the hospital with a mild concussion. The police said there was no signs of a disturbance or break-in, other than what they themselves caused when they came in to check and found me. I don't know what to think. I've been very stressed at work, but I'm not going crazy. I swear to God. It's, you know how they like to rub up against you and everything? It's all fine. It's all fine. Except for that fucking boner tail that just snatches every cord and yanks everything out. And I feel like I'm going crazy now. Let me see if he needs food. I fucking need something. Ugh. All right. Okay. I don't know why I'm even putting these on. I don't know what to think. I've been very stressed at work, but I'm not going crazy. And I didn't just imagine it. It really happened. One thing is certain. This is my house. And I won't be frightened away by ghosts or shadows. This is my house, and I will fight for it if that's what it takes. So there. I just checked. The shoebox is there on the shelf in the closet. There is stuff inside that wasn't there before. House guests. Soon after my last update, someone contacted me. They had found me on through this blog. They said they know a lot about what's been going on, about the origin of the shoebox's content, and that this kind of thing has happened before elsewhere. They promised to tell me more on condition that I'd stop updating the blog. They said that this whole thing should be kept secret and hinted that it could be dangerous, that there are people out there who think that the contents of the shoebox can be very valuable and would be willing to commit crimes to get a hold of them. In a way, it felt a lot like my nightmare about the agent who came asking about the shoebox. Of course, this was totally different in many ways, but still, it reminded me of that. Like the dream had come true somehow. I promised to think about what they told me, and I have. And that's the reason why there have been no updates for a while. They were friendly enough, but more I've thought about it, the more the whole thing felt like a threat. What? I lost connection to my PS5. It's putting it into rest mode because I ain't been using it. Oops. Uh, let's just reconnect that there, buddy. Can we just do a good old reconnect there? That's not what I'm trying to do. And get back to the fucking blog. All right. Put display capture back on. And all right. Uh they were friendly enough, but the more I think about it, the more the whole thing felt like a threat. That's what really pisses me off. It's a free country. I can write about anything I want in my blog, and the shoebox and everything that came with the house, and thus it's mine. I've decided to keep updating the blog for now. Inside the shoebox. When I found the shoebox again, there were more poems inside, and a battered old device, a switch of some kind. Is that the clicker? You found the clicker! You found the goddamn clicker! I actually had to go and ask about it in the local hardware store to see what it was. It's an old light switch. When you flick it, there's a solid, satisfying click. When I flicked it the first time after finding it, all the lights in the house went out. I swear I'm not making this up. It turned out to be a whole neighborhood, actually. And the real reason for the power out turned out to be a thunderstorm rumbling above. But talk about a coincidence of a lifetime. I flicked the switch many times after that, and nothing strange has happened. And it doesn't exactly look like the one from the game, but what if this okay, so like what if this was like a blog by someone, and then maybe the developers found it and they contacted them and got permission to use the story elements, and now they've decided to link back to the blog to like bring it all back together. But I don't know, there's just too much. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Freaking me out, man. I can't explain where this new stuff come from. Someone broke into my house and put it in there. That makes no sense. More shoebox poems. Oh boy! There were 60 poems in the shoebox, as well as something else. Not a poem, a title page. I suppose it seems to come from a different batch. All the pages seem old, as if they've gotten wet at some point. In any case, here are the photos. I'll transcribe the poems in an update soon, just in case the photos are not clear enough. Came looking for my princess. Instead, I found a witch wearing her face. No one in the family had noticed a change. She said, "She becomes me." Through all the wicked things she did, to me, her beauty kept me in a daze. I stared at her adoringly and forgot how she used to be. As she tortured me for days and days, she said, "She becomes me." Isn't it strange that with every wound she's caused, her beauty in the mirror fades? I hear she's already looking for another pretty girl to put on in the old one's place. She said, "She becomes me." We were both so thin, we wear our skeletons on the outside. She becomes me. Be attended, attended, thought this was about her. Of course it's not. Aw. Tightrope walking. Would you choose a safety net that traps you and kills the thrill? Thin weaves of wires slice your flesh. I must prefer the dark air in between. Soft shadows hug you gently all the way to the ground. Which are you drinking? The water or the wave? Okay. More than anything, his dearest wish, he wanted to go from there to leave, but he could not change his heritage. The blood in his veins was ink, and the crown was too tall to pass the door. He was doomed to remain a king forevermore. Inside this shoebox we killed for, there is, we don't know what, neat stacks of $100 bills, jewels like stars, dreams of those who've slept in this town, the dreams of this town. When we open it, the dreamer will wake, and we, all part of his dream, will be gone. Our wishes come true, the power to punch a hole in the universe. Inside the shoebox we killed for, there is a coffee thermos, a flashlight, a box of ammo, 2 pages of poems, countless worlds. Inside this shoebox we killed for, there is no cat, poisoned or otherwise, dead or living, undead, uncat. Baleful spirits, all the evils of the world, no hope, nothing, darkness. Can't see it. His view is too narrow, limited. It's not a lake, it's an ocean. Fucking don't just fucking throw that in there like it's nothing. Just don't just fucking flick that in there like, yeah, just toss it in. Dark means before creation, before the Big Bang, darkness upon the face of the deep, upon the face of the waters, before light, before primeval autumn, before the word, before the poem. It can be the creator the creator. It has happened before and it will happen again many times. I was surprised to find that such revulsion could shine in someone's eyes. How I hate your kind, he said as we sat down to dine on him. A good friend passed away today, quite unexpectedly. A bit of bad luck there, but these things happen. It was nobody's fault, really. He was taken by a dark presence. We keep his things in his shoebox on our mantelpiece. He didn't find this funny. Campbell's return. Departure. Hey, yeah, yeah. I don't. I don't want to play anymore, even though I haven't been playing in a while. Okay. Sniff sugar. As said, this is not a poem, more like a title page for something. The name of the author has been thoroughly and violently scratched out, written above the title Campbell's Monomyth, Departure, Initiation, Return. Diving deep. I had another strange dream, very different from the previous ones. This was not a nightmare, quite the contrary. The diver from the photos appeared to me. He looked nothing like the photos, but it was the same man. He was the poet who had written all the poems as well. In the dream, he floated in the air above me in the bedroom as if we were underwater. He was wearing a strange, heavy diving suit, almost like a spacesuit. He was shining in a bright light. He told me things that in the dream made perfect sense, but now not so much. I made a habit of keeping a notebook and a pen by my nightstand so I can write down my dreams as soon as I wake up. But even then, I feel that I missed or understood a lot of what he told me. I'm already beginning to forget it while I'm writing it down. Also, when I read through my own notes now, some of them make no sense, but afterward and still now I feel shaken by a powerful emotion I felt in the dream. I'll try to explain the dream as well as I can. The diver told me that a dark presence had taken over his girlfriend, the woman in the photos. He tried everything he could think of to banish it from her, but everything just failed. In the end, he finally understood what he had to do, finally understand the true nature of the dark place that was hidden under the waves of the lake where they lived. The lake was an opening to a dark place that was much bigger than the lake itself. In fact, much bigger than the whole universe we lived in. He wrote one last poem, his masterpiece, a secret poem, a hidden poem, a poem that's not among the poems I found in the shoebox. And he took his girlfriend for one last dive. Together they sank into the depths far deeper than they had ever dived before. The poet and the muse ends with in the dead of night she came to him with darkness in her eyes, wearing a mourning gown, sweet words as her disguise. He took her in without a word, for he saw his grave mistake, and vowed them both to silence in the darkness of the lake. In the dream, I was there diving with them, and from the depths, something or some things surged up to meet them, things of darkness, but bright things of light as well. The diver explained that these things, or these presents, were forever fighting a war between the forces of light and darkness. A dark presence had taken over his girlfriend, and a bright presence now came to take over him. and he surrendered his body to it. But at the same time, the essence of who he was kept diving deeper, ever deeper, holding the essence of his girlfriend, their spirits or souls. The diver, or what was left of him, his true self, spoke the words of his secret poem. The poem described a new world, an island in the sea of darkness, a safe haven, a paradise, a baby universe. A nature of the dark place was such that anything dreamed up there, any dream or work of art would come true, just as true as anything in our world can be. And the poem came true, and the essence of the diver and the essence of his girlfriend escaped from the darkness, disappeared into this new world to live there happily ever after, while their shapes, his now taken over by a bright presence, as his girlfriend's had been taken over by the dark presence, surged up through the opening in the lake to our world to continue their battle there. When I woke up, I felt overwhelmingly happy and privileged of having been shown this. I've never been so moved by a dream and didn't think it could be possible. Even now, even though I've forgotten many of the details, the feeling remains, a feeling of hope. I know that something amazing is coming, something wonderful is going to happen. And at the same time, I know that when it does, it will be something totally different from what I'm expecting, something I could never have imagined. And I know it might take a long time before it does, but no matter how long it takes, I'll be there waiting. That's the last one. I'm gonna report abuse. Okay, what was the fucking other website? Dot dot siren society dot io. You found your way here. Welcome. How do we reach you? Just just turn that there display capture off for a moment. If you don't mind. My phone just made a noise. Uh, thanks for sirening up. What did I do? Re- Repossessed. It's spelled RPOEZESSED. Apply yes to consent to SMS updates. Okay, I'm replying yes. Um, you have successfully subscribed. Type help for help or stop to opt out. Help. It signed me up for a newsletter for the singer that did the song that plays at the end of Alan's chapters, and I assume wrote the song that is playing perpetually um in the game. Uh it says for help reach us at help uh at official po email them. Do I send them an email? What do uh I'm going to get all meta on their ass. I sent them a message. I found this email in a very dark place, but I found your music there too. It makes the dark place a little brighter. Thank you. Fucking weird. I am seriously fucking weird. I have enough Domino's points for a free pizza.